What up, and welcome to Andrews. My name is Jamal, and let me take care of some business real right here, real fast. If you can hear me, please go ahead and hit that like button. Let me know that you can hear me as you come through the door. You're not getting a good. Can't do no background music tonight, but just let me know if you can hear me as you come into the building. Building figuratively, not literally, of course. It's a Magic Monday. Shout out to the folks over at Kidogo Farms. Had fun covering that event this past Friday. I think the next one's coming up in 21 days, so you guys look for that. Um, One second, guys. Let me take care of some bees knees right here. All right, there we go. Sure. A lot of good things went down in Andrews this weekend. I was very proud with my city. Always proud of my city, but um, hey there, Miss Simmons. How are you? Um, Very proud. They had the big prayer rally in town hall, and Miss Jerry Davis had the first annual sexual assault awareness walk. Um, Very, very important, very significant at this time, as a matter of fact, too. Very significant. All right, so there we go. All right, so the title I have up there is kind of provocative, but it's supposed to be because this is again, as we move on in this journey, you find just trying to figure out what is it about certain people, and why is it that some people won't come forward and use their voice and their platform to to bring about change. And let me get this light adjusted a little bit to bring about whatever. And again, I'm conflicted with that because I mean, why should you speak up sometimes? Um, don't know, but we do, and thank God that we do because the I tell you, sometimes there's just no easy way to say things. You just got to just go ahead and say it. You know what I mean? Now, what some things that I've been paying attention again, paying attention to this weekend, not this weekend in particular. Yeah, I guess it happened over this weekend. One of the things that caught my eye, and this is has nothing to do with Andrews, but it has everything to do with Andrews, and that is kind of where I got my title from, and it's concerning NFL great current Colorado coach Deion Sanders and some comments that he made pertaining to the draft. And I just thought about, what he said in the context of the fact that, he just had this big controversial move from this HBCU Jackson State over to um, University of Colorado University, however it goes. But the NFL draft took place this weekend, and he had some comments regarding the fact about the number of black players drafted from HBCUs, or excuse me, the number of players drafted from HBCUs. He had an issue with that. And sometimes you should just leave well enough alone. And this is all, my opinion. But this gets at the heart of what I'm saying about these sellouts who go they go hard on these situations, they give off the appearance that they are, for the people, for the cause, however you want to phrase it. But at the end of the day, their interest is with money. And the same thing that I'm learning is going on with particular politicians, public figures, who, once I get the proper evidence, I am going to name names, because what they're doing is deceitful. And I think what Dion said, and let me pull this up on the screen here for you so we can read it together. Dion was talking about the fact that, how many NFL teams, that out of the 31 teams, let's pull it up on the screen. Not that one, this one. He said he was ashamed of the let's pull it up here. Let's get you on the screen. Prime time. And Prime was one of my favorite players. You know what I mean? He was definitely one of my favorite players. Even through his college days. But just what I'm about to get into right now is a lot of the reason why I don't watch sports anymore. And anybody who know me, they know I was I'm talking about a huge sports fan. And it's just, I just want to see sports. I don't want politics. I know where to go to get politics. And at one point there was a line, you know what I mean? There was a line there. But now there is no line. And let's add this into the stream. All right, you see on the screen there, Prime Time, Coach Prime, as they call him now. And in the tweet, he said, "I'm ashamed of the 31 other teams, because there's 32 teams in the NFL, that could not find draft value in all of the talented HBCU players," Sanders wrote on Twitter after the draft was completed Saturday night. And there you see Coach Prime right there, decked out in all his Colorado gear. And the problem that I have with folks like Coach Prime, and these other people, you'll find. Well, I know some people and as per se that in fact, and you wonder why this brother is so black. I'm talking about Egypt. I'm talking about to the black, and he's married to a white woman. And there's nothing wrong with being married to a white woman or any other kind of woman. But when you preaching black, a lot of times it's because these people are overcompensating, trying to prove or reprove their blackness. And but at the whole time it's about the money. Because let's go over Coach Prime's statement here again. Right. And you got a lot of people on board with it, and a lot of people that see it for what it is. He says he's ashamed of the 31 other NFL teams that couldn't find draft value in, and that is him insinuating that there's some kind of bias against HBCU players. And I would go along with what he's saying, but this is the same guy who left the HBCU um, to go and coach at Colorado. I mean that did in fact happen. And in fact, he took some of the players, some of the better players from Jackson State, and took them with him to uh, Colorado. Now, hey, I was I don't know if I did a video on it or not, and I probably did, but I was in agreement with his move. I thought, you know what, you don't like the conditions, you move on. But this love for the HBCU all of a sudden now is coming off as disingenuous. There's Coach Prime right there. Coach Prime, for those of you who don't know, he went to school at Florida State, um, which is not a HBCU. That's where all of the better black athletes are going now, to the predominantly white schools, I guess you can say that. But to act as if this is the thing about these NFL teams, is that they'll sign anybody as long as you could run, jump, hit, tackle, whatever the case may be, wherever you at. And if you don't have any historical perspective on the NFL and HBCUs, then you wouldn't know what happened, and you would think that, oh, it's always been like this. But the fact is that the black athletes stopped going to HBCUs. They started going to the white universities by choice. By choice. By choice. So for all of you who are who think, oh well, things have gotten worse since the 60s and stuff like that, I'm gonna share something with you real fast so I can give you some historical perspective on situations like this. And I'm only saying this to get to a greater point about the sellouts that exist, that are standing in the way of progress in the community of Andrews, South Carolina, the town of Andrews, South Carolina. But let's get some historical perspective here. Hold on, let me load this. If you think that it's gotten worse, like, okay, they just don't deal with the black athletes. No, again, the black athletes stopped going to the HBCU by choice. And without the proper historical perspective, man, you'd be lost out here. So let's get some let's do a little bit of history right now. The rise of the HBCUs and the draft. 1950s. In the 1950s, the Giants drafted Bob Stonewall Jackson out of North Carolina A&M, now North Carolina A&T. Another 7 players from the HBCU were drafted in 51 and 52 before New York selected future Hall of Fame left tackle Rosie Brown, Morgan State. in the 27th round of the 1953 draft. In 1954, fullback Maurice Bassett Langston became the highest drafted player from the HBCU when Cleveland and Paul Brown took him in the third round in 1954. Let's move up. Okay. So this is part of a bigger conversation that we're going to unpack, not tonight, but just while integration was not easy, it quickly became evident that the league would welcome black players at the running back position. Joe Perry led the league in rushing yards for the 49ers in 1953 and 54 in Los Angeles. Tank Younger. Let's go to the 60s, and I'm just run through some names of players. And in 1975, 10 players were drafted from Jackson State. So just a little historical perspective. It's not that the NFL, they go where the talent's at, and the best talent is not going to HBCUs. The best coach, one of the best talented coaches from HBCU, who was Coach Prime, he left the HBCU. Is that not a fact? He left the HBCU for greener pastures. Yeah, the NFL just went where the players went. Chuck Hinton of North Carolina Central was a second round pick by Paul Brown and the Bears in 1962. This made the defensive tackle the first player the HBCU drafted inside the top 20 the next year. And this is in the early inception of the league. So they were going where the talent was. Okay. Racism or not, that boy can run. So let's go get him. Okay. Buck Buchanan, defensive tackle. Claude Humphrey with the third overall pick overall pick. The 1971 draft course. Let's see. 3 years later, this was in 74. Too Tall Jones out of Tennessee State. And I'm talking about these are Hall of Fame NFL players. Okay. At quarterback, Shaq Harris became the first NFL player from HBCU to have success in the NFL as a quarterback. A star at Grambling, who fell to the eighth round in 1969. Draft Harris, Doug Williams, Grambling. Jerry Rice, Lester Holmes, Robert Porsche, South Carolina State. This is in the 90s. Steve McNair. So the point is, point being that you got to watch out for these sellouts, for these people who, okay, they're screaming at the top of their lungs. Blah, 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 blah. Pay close attention to them. Again, this was a great event this weekend at Freewood Farms, which I encourage you guys to get up that way and visit Freewood Farms. Call them, figure out when their tour day is. Very interesting very interesting. Friday again. I enjoyed covering that, and do not let this slip your mind, guys. This is coming up on us fast. Okay, Bring Harriet Home, Journey to Freedom, August 1st through the 31st. Please reach out to the Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce. You can find them on all of your social media platforms and check out the Gathering Place, a Gathering Place, excuse me, on Facebook, here on Facebook. And that's run by one Miss Marilyn Hemingway. So, guys, look out for that. Boom. Yep. And let's just put this up here. Fast approaching. Also, May 27th, the Food Truck Festival is going on. It's going to be a lot going on May 27th. I know down in over in Oakland over there, it's going to be Mayfest at Black River. Food Truck Festival going on in Andrews. Miss Clarice, you see on the screen right here, she's going to be having an event at the A Center on Main Street, 30 East Main Street in Andrews. So you guys reach out to her and pick up a ticket. Make sure you find yourself there. What we got? Yeah, not a lot, man. It's more the same. More of the same. Georgetown County is, there hasn't been anything done, any movement on any of that stuff going on over there at the old Andrews High School. And I spoke with Mr. Rod Richardson from DHEC. I'll be giving him a call back. I'm doing I'm educating myself on this asbestos thing, on asbestos and the different ways it's handled. And there are other examples of things in that I have to show you guys in the contrast between Andrews and Georgetown when it comes to the county. And I mean, even on, let's see if it's on this map here. I think it's on this map. Yeah. Even on this map right here, just pay attention here. And this strip up here, you see this water line, this body of, look at where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Ambulances for this strip of land. And then so the rest the rest of the county back here, up here, one out here to cover all this, and this is not connected where the water is here. One to cover all this area. It's just here's little Andrews out here. This is Georgetown. Look. And where's the ambulance out here? There's not even an ambulance at 9 Mile Curve at this point. And what about the students? 600. That's roughly 600 at Andrews High School, 900 at Andrews Primary, another 6 at Rosemary Middle, 22 plus dialysis patients, a nursing home, senior housing on the County Line Road. Baseball, soccer, all these youth activities going on. How many of your pastors are in church encouraging you to speak out on this, or reach out to Ronnie Sabb's office, or reach out to Raymond Newton, or reach out to Everett Carolina? How many of your forming groups having conversations with your teenagers about adult men sending them pictures like this on over social media? Adult men, adult women, adults, pedophiles. And it would have been nice to see some of my white brothers and sisters out there at the sexual assault awareness walk. And maybe you didn't see it. Maybe it could have been advertised better. So maybe I'm wrong in what I'm saying. But the next time you see an event, and you'll see me advertising it. We're gonna do a show on. Yeah, we got to be mindful of these people who, they screaming one thing, but they will sell out. They will sell out. They will sell us out. They have sold us out. But we need a little more proof before we go nuclear on them. But as y'all can hear, man, it's just one of them nights, man. It's just one of them nights. Again, shout out to, and y'all make sure y'all go check out Keto Go Farms on Facebook. Go like their page. Go leave a comment. Go check out some of their content. Make sure you go do that. From last month, we talking about the EMS. This is from last month up to the 25th. Traffic accident, Big Damn Swamp. Unresponsive. These are different calls that were dealt with by the Andrews Police and Fire Department. Wasn't necessarily dealt with by EMS at all. Wasn't dealt with by EMS because EMS wasn't available. So these were your first responders who are they're good people but they're not paramedics. They're not. That's not what they do. Unresponsive traffic accident with injuries, unconscious, unresponsive, unconscious, traffic accident with injuries, traffic accident with injuries at the bypass, 521, chest pains, overdose, traffic accident, OB-GYN. A baby was born in the tub or at the motel. That's that's 506 South Morgan at the motel. Had a stroke. These are just different calls that went on during the last month. And so keep in mind, the kids will be getting out of school here in another 20 something days. So you can expect these things here to increase. And again, the politicians just, they think they act as if, we have time to wait. And I look at this stuff, right? And you look at the EMS, and everybody can agree that that's an emergency. Well, think back to all of the crazy rules and the crazy laws that they hyper speeded and passed when we were going through the pandemic during COVID-19. Think about all of that stuff, and then think about the fact that the council can just put it off, and even with proof, I mean, even with the numbers, they could just kick it down the road and not treat it as if it's an emergency, not treat it as if it's a situation that needs to be dealt with pronto. Now, so yeah, man. Again, I was just kind of thrown off by what Dion did, and I see that in a lot of people these days. These fake, uh, you upset with the it's 31 teams drafting not drafting players from HBCU, but you were a coach at the HBCU. Why you ain't transferred to another HBCU if you were so concerned about that? But they get up there screaming Jesus, 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 and they be the farthest thing from Jesus. Why you ain't went to a HBCU when you had the opportunity? Because Florida State paid more. So be careful with that, man. Be careful out here with those type people. All about the money. That was Dion's song. Must be the money. So why would I be surprised? But he's screaming, you done got all that money from them white folks, and now they're the bad white folks, and the other brothers behind you got to be victims. You victimized them. You victimized those other 50 players that left Colorado the other day. What you say? You got to change the furniture. You got to get the furniture out. Boy, if a white coach said that, ooh, see, that would have been the end of Rico for him. He would have been out of there. He would have been out of there. But that's prime. That's prime. That's prime. As Prime. Man, we didn't even drop any bombs tonight or anything. It's all good, man. But I'll be back tomorrow. I promise y'all with a better show. Which I don't think this was bad. Just it was kind of off the beaten path, but I was just really, really blown away by his comments and how we give people like this. All you gotta do is scream Jesus, happy, Jesus, 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 in the name of, and these people get passes and they, like he's wrong for what he did, for what he said. Well, I don't think he's wrong, and I mean that's not the right word. I think he's full of shit. I think he's. I think that's why you got to be careful what kind of organization you joining up with these. They hyper pro against the white man. Please, boy, them boys that take $20,000 and your head is toast. So, Coach Prime, HBCU. Do some history, man. But anyway, again, esta mañana.